And I am like, I am like gonna get off this training, like this podcast right now. And I'm gonna make a few phone calls immediately, sending people straight over to try it. And I
Thank
want
you.
to look at that report myself too. So,
Thank you very
awesome.
much.
So, Brad, obviously you know more about the genius behind like the artificial intelligence more than I do. Is there a question that you feel like I should have asked you that I did not ask you that I should ask you right now?
A lot of people ask about how does it work,
Yeah.
and or how accurate is it? And rather than talk about us, I'd like to give a brief story that kind of, I think, illustrates it better than if I talk about us. And it's well known if you're a data scientist, and I didn't know it until I kind of really got into this world about 8 years ago. And it's a story about Target. And so Target, kind of before smartphones were really everywhere, they were starting to use data to make predictions on things and scoring things. And so one thing that they realized is that when a woman is pregnant, it's one of the first times, only times, to really change a shopping behavior pattern. And so they wanted to find women that were pregnant. But how do you do that, right? I mean, baby registries maybe, but then is everyone on the baby registry or just the person being registered for? Like, how do you do that without just spamming everybody? And so what they did is they started to use data science. And what they looked at is kind of two things stood out to them. Is that in the first 20 weeks of pregnancy, women that were on these registries, if they were also pregnant, they bought large quantities of calcium, magnesium, and zinc. And also at the beginning of the second trimester, they bought large quantities of unscented lotion. Now, when I say it now, it's like, oh yeah, of course that makes sense. If you have a kid, like, of course, but it wasn't clear in the data. And the story goes is that this father came into the store livid. I mean, just cussing the manager up and down. How could you dare send all of these advertisements to my underage daughter? What do you think she is? Getting around, all that. Manager didn't know what to do. I'm so sorry, sir. I don't know. And so the father finally leaves, comes back 2 weeks later, hat in hand. Sir, I owe you an honest apology. I had a real conversation with my daughter, and she is pregnant. And it was one of those like, what moments? Like, Target knew that your daughter was pregnant
Before you
did. Like, sink that in. I've got 2 daughters and a son. What? Right? Now, this was before Cambridge Analytica. This is before all of those shows and all that. Like, this is, you type your little number and when you go to any store like a Safeway or a Target or wherever, that's what they're doing. And all they're doing, guys, like I started this off, AI is not, I like your magic, so I'm not going to say that. AI is not all knowing. It's really good at certain things and bad at a lot of other things that people give it credit for, right? So pattern matching, that is what this did. Then it classified them into one of those categories, right? And so that's what we do for real estate. Now, it's harder because we don't have this clean set of data that Target did, right? And they know exactly what you buy because you type your little number in. So we have to pull it from over 3,142 municipalities. We have over 300 million demographic files, each with 400 data points on it. We have to keep them current so the right people in the right homes everywhere they are. Then we bring in macro market data like VIX index, consumer confidence, weather patterns, like all kinds of crazy stuff, all to predict the appearance on the MLS, right? And so it is this slugfest of data munging in order to bring it to a simple form that we can deliver in a as frictionless way as possible, so agents, real estate investors, and lenders can get the benefit of AI.
Man, this is like the third, fourth time you blow my mind on this interview. This whole entire thing about like the father and the Target story. Like, Target knew your daughter was pregnant before you knew your daughter was pregnant. And to me, that's like the power of identifying the seller that wants to sell his home before anyone else in the marketplace. And the beauty about your service is that, we're a top listing agent company. That's what we do. We help people, list homes, take more listings, and all that good stuff. So that's why this is so perfect for my audience, because when you do capture the listing, you don't just capture the listing. You also capture the buyer. The seller might need to buy another home, and or the referral to refer them if they're moving on to somewhere else.